So a few months ago, I did a video about this, about the final reports of the so-called Study Group 9 of the Synod on Synodality. So let me give you the facts again, and everything I'm about to say is documented, of course.
It's a David L. Gray show now. Yeah. The sun is going down.
So Study Group 9 of the Synod on Synodality was one of the 10 study groups that Pope Francis established in 2024, coming out of the on Synod on Synodality. So its assigned topic was in the original mandate. It was called, they were supposed to study controversial doctrinal, pastoral, and ethical issues. That was the mandate. Study controversial, doctrinal, pastoral, and ethical issues. But the group took that mandate and they quietly renamed it emerging issues. Not controversial. This language matters all the time. From controversial to emerging. Okay? Hold that. Because that relabeling tells you everything. When you take the settled teaching for 2,000 years and file it under emerging, you have already decided which way you're going to go in this subject. So on May 5th, they released their report. It featured anonymous testimonies from two men in same-sex civil unions. Again, presented very warmly, no doctrinal clarity or commentary. It stated, and this is a direct quote from the document, that sin, at its root, does not consist in the same-sex couple relationship. The document also attacked Courage International, which is an apostolate that's in perfectly good standing with the church, with faithful ministers who actually do minister to same-sex attracted Catholics. It rebuked them so harshly that Courage publicly denounced it as slander and defamation. Imagine that. And remember when the report came out, when I did my talk on it, I labeled the document as not safe for children. It wasn't. It's not. I think any document of the church should be safe for children to read. Any document of the church you should be able to put on your coffee table and have no problem if your child wants to pick up and try to read it. This document was not safe for children. It was pornography. It was, from my knowledge, the first time that the current Catholic Church issued a pornographic document. Okay. And then it came out later that the anonymous witnesses were connected to the Jesuit James Martin, who, and one of them had actually received a blessing from Martin one day after Fiducia Supplicans. So here's the part that confirms the Cardinal's instinct. The General Secretariat of the Synod itself, when the report came out, he distanced himself from the document. Imagine that. The person in charge of all documents said, he faded into the bushes like he was Homer Simpson.
Oh, okay.
And he told the press the report cannot be attributed to the General Secretariat. And he's basically saying, I had nothing to do with this. Even though I'm in charge of everything that comes out, I'm not in charge. I had nothing to do with this. Well, it lets you know that there's some machinations going on still in the church. So one of the 7 members listed in Group 9, Sister Jose Nagula, I'm probably mispronouncing that, said she gave no input to the section on homosexuality at all. So this is Study Group 9. And the report that they issued came out without any approval from the General Secretariat and without any consensus from all the members. What are we talking about? So hear what Cardinal Sarah says about it, because he is precise. He says that this document must be examined by the Holy Father before it is sent out, because there should not be a Western group with a specifically Western tendency seeking to oppose itself on the whole church, as it happened with Fiducia Supplicans. That was a lot. If you heard what was just said by the Cardinal, he just said a lot. They basically called Western tendency gay. And he said there's some people with this tendency, this gay tendency, just releasing documents that have nothing whatsoever to do with the church. Okay? And that the Pope Leo, you need to do your job. Now, you're the Pope. Nothing should be going out without your approval. And you don't have to sign it, but you need to know what's coming out of your church. He's telling Pope Leo, do your job. You need to do your job. You may not know it. There wasn't a whole lot of on-the-job training, okay, for the obvious reasons. But you need to get up to speed fast, okay, because they're about to run over you. You've been Pope for a day and they're already slipping stuff past your secretary and you. And this is crazy. That's what he's saying, all right? So you need to catch that. There's a lot going on here. And he names the pattern as well. He says, do not repeat what happened with Fiducia Supplicans. Okay? And then he asks the question that pins the whole thing. He says, I do not know who makes up this study group number 9, who these experts are, what nation they are from, what culture they're from. And what he's doing here, and he's saying in just the politest possible curial language, he's speaking as a prince of the church, in a way that doesn't really do what St. Nicholas did, like just go around and punch somebody in the face, right? He said, I'm not going to go there yet. Let me just say it this way. Right? And but essentially he's saying is, in this very polite language, who authorized this? Right? And by what right does it go out to the whole church? Now, if it were me, right, there are times in my life where I find it very necessary to use language that everybody understands, that it just got real, right? Sometimes I use language that sets a tone so that everybody can understand it just got real. Okay, so if this were me, I would have said it differently, right? I'm not a prince of the church, obviously. But I would have said, like, who put this BS out? Who put this BS out? And who told you could do it? All right. But that right there is really the fingerprints of what we've come to know as the Lavender Mafia.
It's beautiful here. Everything smells like lavender.
It's not a formal magisterial act, not a papal teaching anyone will sign. Rather, it is a document smuggled out under an institutional cover, designed to move the praxis of the church before anyone can pen a doctrinal claim or name and make them defend it. And we're going to hold on to that, because that's really the trigger point I'm going to tie into this next thing with traditional custodes. But this is what they do. This is the hallmark of the Lavender Mafia: create a climate where sin is no longer felt to be sin. All right, so this was the whole pontificate of Francis, normalizing sodomy. Okay, And you just kind of let the climate do the work. Okay, so this is why you see the report I issued a few weeks ago about an overwhelming majority of Jesuit churches in the United States all have just an outreach to the Skittles. Not just the outreach, they're incorporating them into parish life without any call to repentance. Oh, you could be Skittle over here. You can have your rainbows, your meetings, your masses, and everything's normal here. They're creating a safe space for the Skittles, okay? Because that's the only sin that's not a sin anymore, right? No change in doctrine, no change in dogma, but the praxis, right? The change of the climate. Let the climate do the work that no honest argument ever could. And so notice how Sarah ends it, because this is your challenge to the new pontificate, stated in his own voice. He says, I think the Holy Father is very prudent and will not allow the dissemination of a text that he has not approved after careful study. So he's looking at Pope Leo XIV now and saying, bruh, watch your back. They're coming for you. They came for Benedict. They ran amok during the last papacy, did whatever they wanted to, and they think they can still do it. Okay, they're treating Leo XIV like he's some sort of substitute teacher coming into a classroom and they're just going to run over him. Okay? And they've been doing it. You've seen the appointments. You see what's going on. All right? There's some machinery in the church. I don't want you to worry about at all. I don't want you to worry about. This is not something you worry about. I'm just letting you know, because your baptismal call hasn't changed. You're still called to be holy. You're still called to trust Jesus with his church. Nothing's changed. None of this really affects you. But it's things you should know about, things you need to see when believe your eyes, okay? And watch how certain things move and how the climate wants to accept things that we know are contrary to the truth. Okay. This is the pattern. This is how it operates. So, but this is a cardinal publicly setting the bar for Pope Leo. He's speaking to him like Paul spoke to Peter. Okay. And he's saying in front of the whole church, a serious pope needs to read what goes out under his name. And you shouldn't be trusting this with anyone. Like anything that goes out of the church is really essentially, even though it may come out under the castery, under a committee, it's under a papacy that it comes out. So everything in a way has Leo's name on it, even if it's not officially. It still has his name because he's the Pope. He's the vicar of Christ. He's the one who is at the head of the church. So that's what he's saying. Nothing should be going out of here. Not even a paycheck. Until you see it, man. That's how leaders function. All right? And you don't need to be trusting these people who are out to destroy the church. So it's an expression of these people who work for Satan. So it's an expression of confidence that doubles down as an expectation, is what I would say. So get a handle on what leaves the building, Holy Father, because the machinery that produced Study Group 9 is still running.
Yeah. The sun is going down, but faith rising up. World's deep darkness, but light of Christ rising up. Culture loud, the scripture low. We dig for the truth that the headline won't show. Unapologetic Catholic with steel in the spine. No fear for the haters, no bend in the line. Shadow and light, we hold the frame. Show's on now when it ain't a game. Come on in, yeah, yeah. The hour come down. Oh, let the truth shake the ground. Come on in, yeah. Hold your ground, don't bow, don't group. Oh, it's the David L. Gray show now. Oh, noise getting loud.